I'm glad we have the video this time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, what up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Let's Get Nostalgic. I'm your host, Jawan, also known as Dr. Jazzman1. You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Today, I will be interviewing Mr. Josh from, he goes by the name of Marvel Madness MCU. So, here's Josh.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Yes, I am Joshua, go by Marvel Madness MCU on YouTube and Instagram, and I am a huge Marvel card collector. I open Marvel cards, I talk about Marvel cards, but I also talk about MCU movies. I always reference some of my 90s nostalgia stuff, so this is right up my alley.
Indeed. So, first off, how did you get started?
Started as a kid.
Yeah, like how did you get started collecting Marvels?
Yeah, no, you're completely fine. So, I and when I was a kid, didn't have much, and I started a paper route that basically paid for some things that I would like when I was a kid, and some of those were Marvel cards. It started out, obviously just here and there with some packs, but then I was able to get a box for Christmas from my dad once. But definitely when I was about 10 years old, I started doing this, and then as I got like closer to 12 years old, I got more into it, and then that's when I had the paper route. Definitely had a subscription for comics at one point or another as well, like a 6 month subscription where the count comics would just come to me every couple weeks, and that was fun as well. So that's kind of when I started, when I was about 10 years old, and I and my younger brother actually got into it. My younger brother was 2 years younger than me. He's no longer with us, but I like to seem that I always live his passion too.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Now that's amazing how you described how you got started in collecting the Marvel
Yeah,
card. Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty sweet to be honest.
No,
And
I seem to think so.
uh, what do you love about Marvel actually? Like what made you get into Marvel?
I love everything about Marvel, meaning that anything that is a superhero, anything that is, you know, so my favorite superhero is Wolverine.
Hmm.
And I watched the 90s cartoons X-Men. And that was huge to me to wake up way early in the morning at 7 a.m. and not sleep in and watch this show, right? And I was big into just Rogue Gambit, that whole story, right? Loved it all. But to me, Wolverine was really gruff, really grim. He was just like always doing what he wanted to do. Just kind of like a loner outcast guy, but at the same time, he's still kind of a good guy. And so I always thought that was way cool. And that's kind of what brought me into Marvel. But at the same time, I love the superhero part of it. And so anything that involved, you know, as a kid, anything that involves someone that actually was saving the day. I mean, I got into a little bit of Batman too, with the old school Michael Keaton Batman, and it was great there. And then obviously throughout the years and all that stuff with the MCU movies, it's just brought me much closer. So anytime an MCU movie comes out, I watch it all the time. I'm not one of those like critics where I tear it apart.
Yeah,
It's more so I talk about the good things that I like about it, right? And yeah, so hopefully that answers your
yeah.
main question.
And speaking of X Men, I'm actually wearing the an X Men
I
shirt.
see that. I actually have that shirt.
Oh, you did?
I do.
All right. I guess we're getting somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel characters, that would be, and I did ask you about who's your favorite Marvel character. No, who is your favorite Marvel character? I know you already explained that.
No, you're good. His name is Logan.
Hmm.
Um, his name is Wolverine. His name, he goes by a lot of names. It's probably too early to tell you what they go by, but at the same time, Wolverine, the yellow man in tights with hairy arms and everything. So I love Wolverine. He's always kind of hit me as he can rip things up. He can be really cool and violent. I love that about him. But at the same time, at the end of the day, he usually does what's right, even if he doesn't like it, right? And on the opposite spectrum, let's bring up and some people may listen to this and think that I'm crazy, but so Spider-Man, for instance, he is a high schooler. He's not really been around. He's not like Logan, where he's basically an adult. He knows what's going on. He knows everything, all that jazz. He's just a kid. Spider-Man is, and he's a hero. He just gets thrown into it, right? Nothing against him because I guess the only reason that people cling to Spider-Man is more so because he starts out with as a normal person, right? He's not a mutant like like Wolverine, but he's a normal guy. So like anybody can be normal and get bitten by a radioactive spider and then gain power. So I guess that's kind of how it can relate to kids and people. It's like, I can be a superhero. I just need to be bit by a radioactive spider. But at the same time, with Wolverine, he's a mutant and he just was born with it. And I just like the beard and and everything. I've had a beard for so long. I've been a hairy guy. I got hairy arms too, but and I'm short. So I've always related to this short dude with claws. So
Yes. Yeah, Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite ones.
and that's great. I love it.
Yeah, I remember watching him on the. I remember watching the first ever Spider-Man movie that came out in 2002 with Tobey Maguire. That's probably
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones. I haven't seen the 2 or 3 one yet, but I might get into that somewhere in the near future.
Well, there's a lot of MCU movies to catch up on.
Yes. Yeah. Now, you collect a lot of Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah, like anything that has to do with Wolverine,
Okay.
I'll definitely collect. I'll buy Wolverine or Marvel shirts all day long. So like anything that has uh Marvel, I'll buy. Like I bought a new hat at San Diego Comic-Con that says Marvel, similar to this one here, but I it's the opposite. It actually has Marvel here, it's black, and then underneath it has the characters, like the characters up top here. It has characters underneath. So I'm definitely a fan of just being able to be that kid in an adult body.
Now,
I'm a true I'm what you would call a true Toys R Us kid.
oh yes, I haven't. It's been a long time since I heard about Toys R Us. I can't believe they the way they it got closed down. It
Yeah.
still hurts. It still hurts.
What's funny is my buddy went to one in Canada because there's still some working. And he went to one in Canada, took his kid, and had the whole Toys R Us experience with his daughter. It was a cool experience for him and his daughter. So
Now, what was the most expensive Marvel thing that you've bought?
my most expensive one I bought. I I would say it's a Marvel card, you
Okay.
know. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I would say how much I would spend for one. I mean, I did spend probably a good amount on one. Um, Golden auctions when after COVID hit, there was a bunch of cards that went up in value with Marvel, and Marvel just spiked like any nostalgia, any collectible just spiked after COVID. We all know that. And then there was a big spike, and then there was a big dip, and then now it's just kind of like leveling out, figuring out what things are gonna be. But at the same time, I didn't really buy things that high then. I bought things just that I liked, that I saw, that were good deals, I thought, maybe lots and all that stuff. And then it wasn't until I sold a lot of things. Like I sold a card for $15,000 once, and I bought it for $800. So that actually helped me collect. And so the money that I used to that I got to sell that card and other many cards after that, I was able to pick up Wolverine cards that were more expensive, probably in the 1K, 2K, 3K, not more than that though range.
Oh, excuse me 1 second. I'll be right back. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick.
It's all good. That's what editing's for, right?
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. What card series do you have?
So if we're talking 90s series,
Mhm,
there is 5 Marvel universes back from 1990 to 94. And
mhm.
then there's Fleer Ultra X-Men, there's Fleer Ultra Chromium, there's 1994, 1995, and 1996. There's two 1994 Chromiums. There's two 1994 Fleer. There's Fleer Ultra X-Men, and then there's Fleer Ultra Chromium or Fleer Chromium. And so, and then there's Flare cards. There's 1996 Marvel Masterpieces. You saw the Masterpieces box break that I just did on my channel. That shows the most expensive 90s card set right now, as of right now. And that box probably goes for anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 right now. That box. But specifically, my favorite was 1994. If that's what you're getting to, my favorite set is 1994 Fleer Ultra X-Men. And the card that's my favorite, it has Wolverine and a moon in the background. I mean, how can you go wrong with a Wolverine and a moon in the background? It was just awesome and amazing. Well, sorry, that's not 1994 Flare. That is or sorry, that's not 1994 Flare Ultra. That's 1994 Flare. Sorry, I sometimes confuse them myself because again, I have a lot of cards. Um, but no, there's the Marvel Universe cards are great. I have every single set of those except for I sold the 1990 Marvel Universe. I have all the other ones. And then I have Marvel Masterpieces. There's 1992, 1993, 1995. I don't have all of 1995, but I have 92, 93. So the earlier sets, I do have binders and all that stuff completely. But more and more, my collection is shifting from sets to only Wolverine cards, some of the rarer cards. Some people that don't understand cards in general. I mean, we have sports cards, and you can see some of the pricing that happens with sports cards, right? And so with Marvel cards, it's kind of at the baby stages now still. It's just everybody's getting to know it a little bit more and all that stuff, but definitely a lot of us collectors feel that there's a there's going to be a big thing in the future again, just like what happened. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, it's completely fine. But as more and more I can get educated on Marvel cards, that's kind of what I want to do. Is the Marvel cards exist today, and they're doing modern Marvel card sets, and not a lot of people know that. A lot of people think that they were just in the '90s and all that stuff, but that's specifically what I collected then. But here modernly, just to wrap up here with the Marvel cards, here modernly, my favorite set is 2015 Vibranium. But also there's a newer set coming out, there's newer set coming out 2023 Marvel Masterpieces by Dan DeSantos. And those are highly sought after, the Marvel Masterpieces sets.
Oh, that's great. I might have to educate myself on Marvel cards and non-sports trading cards as well. I do have some.
Just watch my channel and Spidey Hits channel, and you'll get to know that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. And speaking of old school cards, are you an old school Marvel fan?
Yeah. Like how old school? Like 1966 Donruss, or what are you talking about?
Well, I would happen to say the 90s.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a big 90s fan. My favorite card to this day is a card that only is worth $40 today. I mean, some people are like, whoa, $40 for a Marvel card, that's a lot. Well, there's a whole heck of a lot more. I mean, there's cards that sell for $250,000 for Marvel cards. So there has been sales. But what I'm saying is with the 90s, that was just the best time to get them. And there's a lot of rookies during the 1990 Impel set. That was the very first branded with a company that was known like Impel that actually made Marvel cards with Marvel. There was Comic Images prior to that. There was Don Russ, there was Topps, but or not Top. I don't think there was Topps, but before that, there was a couple other companies like Comic Images that just weren't well-known companies. They were more in the Marvel realm. But once Impel, an actual card company, was able to get it, that's where a lot of the so-called rookies of some characters are from, is that 1990 Impel.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever entered a episode? Hold on 1 second.
You're good, buddy.
All right. Yeah, I'm a huge Marvel old school fan as well. I'm also a huge Disney fan, to be quite honest. Yeah, you know how Disney and Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, I started off with Disney with cartoons, so I understand.
Yeah. Now, have you ever interviewed any, Marvel artists, writers, or actor and actresses?
Yeah, of course. So Upper Deck, is the brand company currently right now for trading cards that hires, I guess, artists to draw on their cards, or draw on what they call sketch cards. Sketch cards is like a little piece of art that's one of one that you can pull out of a pack, anywhere from 1998 on to now modernly. And with a sketch card, I've had Marvel sketch card artists that were contracted by Upper Deck to draw on these cards. I have been able to interview several people: Ash Gonzalez, Dre, Tony Perna, Rhiannon Owens, all on my channel. So you definitely want to check out my channel for that. And then the Marvel Roundtable is another show I'm on Wednesday evenings. And the Marvel Roundtable, we actually have artists every once in a while on there too. And so we've had Fred Ian on, some of the content out there that does the Marvel Unbound. You may not be familiar. A lot of people may not be familiar with these modern sets, but just so you have the answer to your question, yes, I've actually interviewed some of the newer artists, and older artists of these Marvel cards, sketch cards that you can pull out of these packs of Marvel cards.
Wow, that's awesome. And I did an interview with Eric and
Julie
Julia.
Lewald.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing, interviewing the couple.
Yeah, and they and just to give them justice, they were the creators of the 1990s X-Men cartoon. They had a lot to do with that. Even the very first episode that come out, he actually had the ability to be like, you know what? Wolverine just wasn't gruff enough. So you need to make him a little gruffer. And so they totally like did what he wanted, and it was just so amazing. So having them, they were also on the Spidey Hits channel. They've just been a great part of the community. They even showed a little bit of us collectors where to maybe find some like original art pieces from that cartoon, which was really cool too.
Yeah,
So
I might interview them again somewhere in the near future, but who knows? I might
definitely great people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really great. I might even meet them in person.
Yeah. They're in California, in LA. So
Yes. Uh, okay. So, what Marvel show and movie have you watched throughout the years?
probably every single one.
Huh?
Every Marvel show.
Okay.
Every single one.
Like, yeah. And what do you love most about collecting Marvel memorabilia?
Well, so this all comes back to when I was a kid. So nostalgia is a big part of my collecting, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's a fun
And
ride
I
to be.
think that's a big focus on your show and the way that you are showing anybody that's a Marvel fan that a lot of this 90s stuff can't be looked past because it's just so amazing, right?
Mhm.
So, with that being said, with the Marvel shows and the Marvel cartoons and all that stuff, specifically, I guess X-Men's my favorite, but at the same time, love the Avengers, love all the Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, and all that stuff. It's great to see where it's going today. I think what's happening is all the Marvel things that's happening today is even bringing some of the older nostalgia stuff into play where it's like, oh wow, they're finally doing that. And we remember as a kid in the comics or reading our Marvel cards how the or watching the TV series, seeing all those come to play in some of these MCU movies is just very, very awesome. I mean, one thing that I was so ecstatic, so happy with was just recently when Hugh Jackman, it showed scenes with him and for Deadpool 3 in the yellow costume.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I think that kind of spoiled everything.
Nah.
I would.
There's going to be that. What that did is it teased you.
Oh,
it gave you a teaser so you know what to look forward to. And I think a lot more people are just more excited than anything.
Yeah. Now, here's one question. Have you ever reviewed a series or movie that you liked or disliked? Now, before you answer that, let me just say, like, I usually don't review these kind of, branded series and everything. I don't talk about Star Wars. I mean, I don't talk about Star Wars or Marvel or DC because, you know, there are some people that are strict when it comes to stuff like this, and you know, I just don't want to, upset anybody by reviewing these kind of, series or movies.
Well, you don't want to spoil,
Yeah,
right?
that's one thing.
Because there's some people that just haven't seen them, right? And
Yeah,
so, especially when the movie just comes out and then you just do a quick review right after that, it's like, okay, you're just spoiling it for people that aren't watching it. Now, if we're talking about a movie and we're telling the audience, hey, we're going to be talking about this just a little bit and just my thoughts on it, on specific parts of the movie, I won't ever rip apart a Marvel show, but I will say, like, let's say the new Ant-Man Quantumania, that's been out for quite some time with Kang the Conqueror, right? I'll say this. I don't think they gave Kang justice in this show because Kang in the comics is very, very, like, very strong and he has a lot of power. And they just didn't give him justice in this Ant-Man Quantumania, I felt. But at the same time, they did portray him. He was in it. And so you just kind of got to look at someone's the way that they, the way that they made it. You got to give a little bit respect to the people that are going into it because they have big shoes to fill a lot of the time. And so just to actually show and portray the character the way that they did, I feel took a lot of guts to begin with, and that's great to see. And so I don't like to rip apart, but I do like to I'll tell every once in a while what I felt about movies, but in the end I like every single one of them.
yeah. So do I. Like those. Now, those are the fans that are really into that kind of stuff, and they really love it. And I think the reason they love it so much is because of the nostalgia and everything. And I'm into nostalgia stuff. And those brands, like I explained earlier, I really don't want to review those because there's some people that are strict with it, real strict with it, or extreme.
Well, if I were to give an example, would be X-Men the movie.
Yes.
So X-Men the movie, how many people have ripped apart that and said it was the most horrible movie ever? Well, I don't believe that. I don't. Like when I saw Hugh Jackman play Wolverine and all the jokes that happened during the whole thing, especially when he brought up with Cyclops and the yellow tights, that was just so funny to me, so amazing to me that even if it had nothing but that joke, it was just amazing. So like I'm not one to like be like, okay, what did the comics do versus what this did? Is this following the actual comic to a T? I don't need that, right? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. So it's really amazing. Like we just talked about everything. Oh, and as you can see, I have some artwork from you know, have you heard of Looney Tunes or any other?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This one that I got right here. This was from Ruth Clampett, the daughter of Bob Clampett. As you can see, it's right up
Yeah,
here.
no, I see that. That's cool.
Yeah. This is the whole thing right here.
That's great.
I got that from the Clampett Studios right before they upgraded their the whole site. And here's another thing. I have these. These are Thundercat shoes from Puma.
Ooh, that is amazing. That is cool.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, so just recently you probably saw this or anything like that, but I have this right here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Like, and when I went on their site, they were sold out. I was like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was so quick. I was like,
I know.
I didn't even get any.
So these right here, these are the Kith shoes, the Kith Asics shoes that come with an actual Marvel card. So basically, you get a Marvel card with it, and this Marvel card is usually numbered on the back. This is one of $12.99, and these are the Storm shoes that I actually pulled. And at the Comic Con itself, I pulled a Gambit, but I traded the Gambit with a friend, and then I'm looking into trading these and trading up to get the Wolverine 75. So I'm hoping to get those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's see. When is? Oh wait. Let's see. So who's your favorite content creator to just collaborate with?
Well, so that's a great loaded question, because I actually tend to like to bring new people on my show. When I say new people, I mean like new content creators that are just starting their channel, or I like to bring on collectors. I like to do cross work, like you're big into 90s nostalgia, as well as just anything that is Disney and all that stuff is related, and even Marvel. So I'm definitely down to just bring people that I haven't done things with, because I feel that if we bring like the Marvel card collector community and this nostalgia community and like everybody together as a main collecting hobby, that's really where it's at. I love bringing people together. So my favorite content creator, it's really hard because there's a lot of them out there, right? But I would say, like, if it was to do MCU movies, I like I Am Fires, or there's a few other ones that I watch too, that talk about the MCU movies when they come out, and that's pretty cool. And I would say that if it's like a Marvel card, content creating channel, the very first biggest one would be Spidey Hits. People know of Spidey Hits and all that stuff, but at the same time, there's Sketch Card Hive has really great stuff. Elusive Collectibles is another one. I know my channel I started a while back as well, Marvel Madness MCU. And then we have Neo Cards and Comics, who came from sports but still likes Marvel. He's coming to play. There's comic guys I've done stuff with. I don't know if you've heard of Swaggle Haas. Swaggle Haas is a great comic guy. And so there's just a lot of people. And then my Marvel Roundtable, we got True Blue Collectibles. We got Melfi Collectibles. We got Derpa Derpa Doo Collectibles. We got Jin from Loot Box. You probably heard of Loot Box TV. He's actually from Loot Box. So there's some big hitters out there. Alonzo Collectibles is another one that he came in with Spider-Man Metal, the Spider-Man Metal set that came into play. We got Valor Comics and Services that presses and cleans comics. Currently, right now, he's taking a break. I'm not sure exactly if he will be back in the future, but he's just been a great part of it. And then we, in the community of Marvel cards, we have a bunch of Facebook groups. We have what's called Marvel Card Collecting podcast that talks about Marvel cards. That would be a really good thing to look up, the MCCW podcast. And then there's the MCCW Marvel Card Collecting Worldwide Facebook group on Facebook. And then there's Marvel Cards US. And so there's a few different Marvel Card groups if you want to like learn a little bit about it. I actually joined just a Kith group recently with the Kith shoes and all that stuff. And I'm like talking to all these like shoe guys that like collect shoes and nostalgia shoes, like old school Jordans and all that stuff. So
I'm thinking of getting some. Getting
yeah,
some Jordan. I might get some.
my kid wants some Jordan Air Force Ones right now. Like I'm just like and they're almost $200. So
They could be expensive.
oh yeah, no, but I mean collecting in general is not a cheap hobby, but at the same time, someone could start out with nothing. I've seen little kids that are 12 years old have $500,000 in cards. Well, very so he could have been helped with his parents for sure. But I've seen out there, like I've seen actual in-person little kids hustling, getting one card and then bringing a $100 card. And at the very end of the show, he has a $5,000 card from $100. So it's like
500,000?
No, 5,000.
5,000. Yikes.
Yeah, $5,000. And for a kid, that's just amazing. I mean, 500,000 worth of cards I've seen some kids have. So it's just, you can start anywhere in collecting and end up anywhere. If some people say, oh, I don't have money to collect, you can really start anywhere. You just have to do your research.
Yeah. I might have to do some more research on collecting and everything. This has been really great, just talking with you and about everything else. Now, do you have any other things to talk about before we sign off?
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, obviously with Marvel in general and Disney, like let's say, right? The whole franchise together, right? Disney's done a pretty good job in wanting to create more of the newer Marvel movies, which is or shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel they did pretty good with WandaVision. I liked it a lot. I liked the whole What If series. That was really cool. The cartoon series, What If series on Disney. I haven't got into the Secret Wars, even though there was something that just happened in Secret Wars that was actually pretty interesting. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but what?
Secret Invasion?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry, Secret Invasion. It has to do with Secret Wars later on down the road. But typically, yeah, I just like all that. The Hawkeye series was great. And even the Loki. The Loki was one of my favorites. And when they're gonna bring this Deadpool into this realm of the multiverse and that whole Loki series, that's just gonna be really cool to see that with the timeline and with how that works. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be way sick. But in general, I love that all about it, like, and I don't want to discredit some of the other nostalgia stuff other than Marvel and Disney. Like, I was a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, big Transformers fan. I collected Mad Balls. Those who don't know what Mad Balls are, do a little bit of research. Toxic Crusaders was huge too. I was actually at San Diego Comic-Con and I met the creator of Toxic Crusaders. This was an old school cartoon where he actually was a janitor that got hit by toxic waste and was a superhero after that. It's pretty funny. But in general, what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get at, Juan, is with Marvel cards, we want to educate people on how and what they do today and what they did in the nostalgia days in the 90s and what the differences are. And that's what our channels are to do nowadays, is open up the new Marvel products, open up the new Marvel cards to show people that part of the collecting atmosphere. and I'm definitely down anytime like people want to collect Marvel Legends action figures. I have plenty. I have a bunch of those myself. When you asked about any other Marvel things that I've collected pins. I've collected handkerchiefs. I've collected cards, pogs. Pogs are a big one too that I have a
I might
bunch of.
get into those. I might have to find those somewhere.
Yeah, but in general, I don't want to like take this too long, but I just want to like educate people on what Marvel cards are all about. And that's what a lot of us content creators with Marvel cards do. And so anybody that wants to be part of Marvel cards or learn about Marvel cards, want to be on my show, reach out to me. If you have something cool to show that has to do with the old school X-Men cartoon or anything nostalgia, I'm always for it, buddy.
You do those one-on-one videos. I think that may be helpful. The one-on-one videos. I think they could really help out.
Yeah, and you'll find me have new collectors on. We'll open up product and they'll learn stuff every day. Like I even go on with people that know stuff, uh uh that don't know a lot of stuff either, but I'll learn from them that don't even know a lot of stuff. Like the last box of 1996 Marvel Masterpieces we opened, we just have fun and we're learning a lot of stuff. So that's kind of what it's all about. So appreciate you having me on,
Uh,
Dr. Jazzman.
yeah, thank you very much for coming, and tell them where they can find you.
So you can definitely find me on Instagram at MarvelMadnessMCU. And I have my YouTube channel, Marvel Madness MCU, as well on YouTube. I am on TikTok as well, Marvel Madness MCU. Trying to figure out how TikTok all works and all that stuff too. But mainly I hang out on Instagram. You can message me on there, and then I'll do all my shows on YouTube. I mean, I have actually gone as far as doing whatnots, and I'll sell cards and all that stuff too. So I'll have a whatnot card show every once in a while where people can buy some of the Marvel cards that I have graded and all that. So,
All right, that's great. And if you want to see more of him, like you said, follow him on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere that's possible. And you can also find me on TikTok as well, along with YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, guys, I thank you for tuning in to this incredible interview. I hope to learn more from this guy, Mr. Marvel Madness. And thanks for tuning in.
see you guys.
All right. All right. We'll see you next time.
All right, you gonna end it?
Yeah, I'm just.
You can end it. Once you end it,
Well,
it won't end our stream. It'll just end this.
all right. Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say, man.
No, it's fine. Just end it.
All right. Thank you.